I was in rehab. Um, how do I say it? So I'm trying to remember all the events. So I was in rehab for 1 week. When I came out of rehab, I went to the funeral. This is when I started. Funeral. I'm not gonna talk about the funeral. When I had seen him like the weekend, because I had gotten out on a Wednesday of rehab. I got out a Wednesday on a rehab, and I seen him that weekend because I seen him that weekend, and he was already like, obviously when someone loses somebody, they're gonna act different, and I was okay with that. I was like, I understand. I mean, I lost someone too, so it goes both ways. So yeah, I started seeing a lot of differences, but I just ignored it because it's like you just lost somebody. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with going out with friends, but yeah, he was like going out a lot. Like he was like, what happened to the comment section? Did someone turn off my comment section? Okay, he was like going out with his friends a lot. He went to a couple of amusement parks. Y'all know Cousins and Coasters. He had went to Cousins and Coasters with his friends, which later on I had found out that he was getting girls Snapchats at Cousins and Coasters and shit. He never told me he went to Cousins and Coasters until he had brought it up out of nowhere. But yeah, so yeah, and I didn't have a phone yet. I was literally home, eating, watching TV, taking medication. I didn't have no resources to social media. I didn't want to be on social media. I just didn't want nothing to do with social media yet at that time. So yeah, and then he had left to go see his family in LA, and I already knew things were gonna happen. I already knew that, like I already knew that things were gonna happen because LA, y'all, it's LA. So okay, fast forward to probably like a week after he's been in LA, he would call me from time to time, and he had called me. He was like, this was on a Saturday afternoon. It was like probably like 1 or 2 p.m. He calls me. He's like super happy. He was like, oh, like I went to my first function. Like I'm so happy I went to my first function. And obviously I felt some type of way about it because like I'm home recovering, and then I would just be like, nah, never mind. I can't be feeling this way because he just lost someone and he's using this to cope. Like he's using going out to like as a distraction. So I just didn't say nothing. I left it alone because he just lost somebody. So I was like, oh, like how did it go? Like I was like, obviously it would break me. It was like, I would feel like wow. But at the same time, I wouldn't like bring it up to him and be like, you know what, like, oh, like how did it go? Like how was it? And he was like, oh, it was so fun. Like, and then Sunday comes. I go to church. Right after church, I'm on my trap phone. I connect to hotspot, and I'm on it, and I get this notification from this girl on TikTok, and she was like, "Girl, one of my friends posted this video on her close friends, and she's talking about how she saw your ex or your boyfriend." Because people at the time, they kept asking me, are you still with him? Are you still with him? And we were still together. And I would get confused. I'd be like, why are people like asking me if we're still together or not? Like, why would we break up? And she was just like, yeah, she said that she saw him at a function and that they talked and that they made out. And then I told her, text me on Instagram. Texted her on Instagram, and she starts sending me the video. She sends me the video, and I was like, well, like, this girl could be saying this and she could be lying too. Like, there's girls messy in this world. So I talked to the girl. Y'all know that nobody knew that Julian had a tattoo on his neck. Y'all barely found out about this recently. Well, when I talked to her, I asked her, does he have any tattoos and where does he have them? On his neck. How would this girl know this? How would she know that? Because nobody on social media knows that until now. This was back then. This was in July. This was the beginning of July. I was like, wow. By the way, he doesn't have a phone. So I texted his sister and I texted his cousin. I need to talk to him. Please tell him to call me when he can. So later that night, Sunday night, later that night, he called me, and this is me, like, I can't take it no more. I told him, I know what you did. I know what you did. You don't have to lie about anything. I know what happened, but I can't do this no more. I have to be to myself. And he was like, okay. And then somehow we get caught up into a conversation, and we start talking about what I found out. And I'm like, I mean, you know what you did. And he was like, well, what girl are you talking about? What you mean, what girl? There was multiple? Well, that's what the girl told me. There was multiple. She wasn't the only one. They made out. He was with another girl. She saw him with another girl later on. But, yeah. And then he, like, explains to me that he supposedly wasn't all up on her, that it was her, and that he was drunk and he had to get up and leave. Supposedly, I don't know. And I was like, so I wanted to believe him. So I was like, all right, then never mind. Like, if you say that this is what happened, then I believe you. And then he was like, well, actually, like, we do need to break up because when I'm at parties, I get super drunk and a lot of girls get on me and I don't know if I'm going to fold in one of them. And that's just when it clicked in my head. He did do something. I was like, if you feel that type of way, then you obviously did do something. Something obviously happened. So I was like, and I'm not going to lie, I did beg him at the time. Because after, like, how am I not going to beg him after literally everything that we've been through? And I was like, no, like, you're probably, like, just thinking this because of what you're going through. I was like, no, you're just thinking this because of what you're going through. And I was, like, begging him for a minute. And then, yeah. And then that happens, and we hang up, and, yeah, we broke up. That's when we broke up. He broke up with me because he was scared that he was going to fold and another girl at a function. So, yeah, we had broken up. And then this was messed up of me, I'm not going to lie. But I was hurting. It happens. Like, I mean, you just broke up with me because you wanted to go. You said that you might. Like, how does that even happen? Like, you know what you're doing when you're drunk. Like, it's an excuse. So the next day, or not even a day goes by, and I was like, I'm bored. I want to do something. I'm bored. Like, I'm single. Like, I'm bored. And so I follow my ex. And he saw that, I guess, I don't even know how he found out that I followed my ex. Like, he literally calls me, because he doesn't have a phone. He literally calls me and he's like, oh, well, why are you following your ex? Like, why does it matter? You broke up with me last night because you said that you're going to fold. You might fold at a party and another girl. What is your point? And yeah, I'm just acting very nonchalant in the call. I'm just like, you're going to act like you didn't just tell me that last night? And so yeah, that happens. And he's on the phone. He's like trying to, like, be all lovey-dovey with me. And obviously, I kind of fold. Hold on. My eyes are so watery right now. Not really. I told him I had to leave. Like, he was like, we were on the phone. I told him I had to leave. He was like, please call me. Like, when you get home, please call me. I get home. I call him. And I'm like, all right, like, what did you want to talk about? And he was like, we talked about something, but I can't talk about that on here. But we were talking about something that was going on with me in my body. And he just starts, like, playing mind games with me, trying to make me think that we were going to get back together. Which I was obviously going to take him back because at the time I was still, like, mentally, like I didn't know. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, if you've been in a situation like this, you will know where I'm coming from. Like, you're still dumb. You still want him. You're still in love. And I still love him. Like, I'm not going to lie. I still love him. Like, the love is still there. But it gets to a point where you open your eyes and you realize that this is not okay. But yeah, at the time he was, like, just playing mind games with me. And then, yeah. And then he was like, oh, well, I'm going to call you tomorrow morning. Because it was already late. And I was like, all right. And then the next day comes, he doesn't call me the whole day. So I text his cousin. I'm like, hey, like, what's up with him? Like, he said he was going to call me this morning. And then he was like, you want to talk to him? And I was like, yeah. And he calls me and I was like, what happened? Like, you said you were going to call me. He was like, oh, like something that he had gotten mad at me for something because I had followed one of my friends back. Not my ex, it was one of my friends. I had followed one of my friends back. And I guess he was mad about that. And I was like, oh, well, it's just my friend. And yeah, and after that, we just didn't talk no more. Until recently, we didn't talk no more. And there was a couple of times that we talked. Hold on. But it's like within the weeks that we didn't talk, I started to realize how stupid and blinded I was, you know? And that's when I was like, you know what, like, I can't keep holding myself back. I can't keep doing this. Like, I have to move on. Like, life goes on. So that's what I did. And that's when everybody comes on my comments. That's when everybody starts bashing me in my comments, talking about why are you so happy? Why are you this? Why are you that? But I literally wasn't on social media at all when he was out there going to parties, messing with other girls while we were still together because we didn't even break up yet. And I already know, like, he could say this, that he didn't do this with this girl. But right after he told me that wasn't true, he then tells me, oh, well, we need to break up because actually I might. You might? So yeah, that's why we broke up. And I sat here on social media and I told you guys that there was no reason that we ended up on good terms. There was no reasons because I didn't want nobody to bash him. I didn't want nobody to sit here and bash him because I knew that he already lost someone in his life. So I was like, I don't want nobody to, like, hold on. My back. But yeah, I didn't want nobody to bash him. I didn't want nobody to tell him nothing, like, if he ever wanted to come back to social media. I didn't want to ruin his reputation. I didn't want nothing to happen anymore. I didn't want nobody to hate on him anymore. I just wanted him to be able to heal over his brother. But I'm doing this because I keep getting hate for me finally moving on, for me finally being happy after what, like, literally 6 months of me being so unhappy. 6 months of me finally, not 6 months because we were together for 1 month, but half of the year that we were together, he had cheated on me. And I had to come back because he cried to me. He cried to me hella. And I felt bad and I comforted him after he cried to me, after he cheated on me. I comforted him and I was like, you know, like, it's okay. We're gonna work this out. And after that, like, it was never the same. I was always unhappy, and that's why I lost the weight that I lost. And I say, like, I used to say, like, oh, I lost 20 pounds because of the accident, but I didn't lose 20 pounds because of the accident. I've been lost like 15 pounds before the accident. I only lost 5 pounds from the accident. I was 85 pounds, and I used to be 98 pounds or 100 pounds, somewhere around there. And that's why I was never happy. Like, there was times that I was happy, but at the end of the day, I was always going to be upset because of that. I was never going to forget it. So if you think that your man will change, if you think that he will change, he's not going to change. It doesn't happen. It's not real. It doesn't happen. So for y'all that wanted to know so bad, this is what happened. So yeah. And this is another thing. when everybody had found out about him cheating, I told everybody that we had cheated on each other, which was not true. I said that because I didn't want people to sit on social media and call me delusional and call me all this other shit for staying with him after he cheated on me. I didn't want nobody to look at me that way, so I said that I cheated on him back so people wouldn't bash me and call me stupid and call me all this other stuff, because I knew that was gonna happen. I knew that was gonna happen. And that's why I said I cheated on him, and he knows it too. He knows it too. But I doubt it that he's ever gonna come back on social media. And if he does, then good for him, you know. Life goes on. And I'm not saying this so you guys could be mad at him. I'm just saying this so you guys could stop telling me all this shit. And I know it won't stop, but majority of it will. Majority of it will. Only ignorant people will continue to bring this up and bring this up. Now, about the accident, it wasn't his fault. I'm gonna tell you guys that. Accident was not his fault. Leak was not his fault. And that's literally about it. That y'all, like, I'm saying stuff that y'all blame him for. It was those stuff, it was never his fault.